bonus points if the chef is sitting with his bare foot just inches away from your food. So here's how you get food poisoning in India. Start off with street food. The closer to the street, the better. The more dingy looking the spot, the better. If you don't know what the food is, great. Eat it anyway. Risk it all. Don't forget to eat the Indian way with your hands. And of course, wash it all down with a tall glass of Indian tap water. So accidentally, I drank a whole glass of Indian tap water. I didn't know, but this is your time to tell me you love me because I might not make it. So if we can all agree that this is the recipe to get food poisoning, why did I do everything on that list and not get food poisoning? That's the question that I'd like to dive into. Hi, I'm Gene, and I just got back from a 2-month-long trip in India where I went all over and yes, ate just about everything under the sun. And today I want to address the most common question I get, which is how did you travel India and not get sick a single time? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and start off with the disclaimer. This is just my experience. This is not professional advice. This topic is the topic I researched most before I headed to India. Like, how do I remain safe in a country that isn't necessarily known for their sanitary restaurants and food safety? And it's true. There are these stories that are absolutely downright scary. But why are some people not getting sick at all? Like, why are some people just handling it just fine, eating nothing but the street food? And that's really the question I want to dive into, because I think there's something more to it. There's this story that I'm kind of obsessed over. And I heard it a few different times from different people in different places in India and outside of India. But it's these two people that go to a restaurant together, right? Two friends. They sit down, they order the same meal at the same time at the same restaurant, and they eat it together. And one of them is deathly ill. I don't want to be descriptive, but you get the idea. And then the friend is fine. The other person is completely unharmed. So what is it? What is it about that situation? I find that so interesting, don't you? Sure. We could rule this out as an anomaly. Personally, I believe that there is a lot that we can do to prepare for an exotic trip, such as India or anywhere else in the world that your gut microbiome is just not ready for. I do believe that you can eat the street food safely and live to tell the tale. So when I was planning my trip to India, I knew that I wanted to try the food. You guys, the food in India was seriously amazing. I mean, you hear about it, and everything you hear about the food in India is absolutely true. So what did I do? How did I make it out alive? Well, to start, I did a lot of preparation. I knew that I was going to be eating a cuisine in a part of the world that was unique, to say the least. One of the things that I did was really build up my gut microbiome. If your diet is already not healthy, you're gonna be in a world of hurt because it's just different and you need to prepare. And you can prepare. You can improve your gut microbiome. And that will definitely help you have a great time in a place such as India. So what I did was eat a lot of probiotic foods. I'm talking like yogurt, kefir or kefir, kimchi, pickles, all sorts of pickled stuff. I'm Ukrainian and we eat a lot of pickled stuff, sauerkraut, cabbage, we pretty much pickle anything and everything. And yeah, I was eating quite a lot of that getting ready for this trip. I also began taking a prebiotic and a probiotic before the trip and during the whole trip in India. I literally got a bottle for 60 days and just on Amazon, and I'll go ahead and link it in the description in case that helps. Another thing that I did, and I think you should consider doing as well if you're not already, but I was a vegetarian the whole way through. In a place like India, refrigeration isn't guaranteed. They have power outages, stuff sits out, things warm up, cool down, Do you want to roll the dice on it? Personally, I did not. Meat and fish are really a breeding ground for bacteria, and it's kind of risky business eating that kind of stuff abroad. So, that is something to consider. Also, if you're going to be a vegetarian, consider starting that before you go. It takes your body a while to get used to the added fiber. And India has a ton of delicious vegetarian options. Like, the culinary experience there is incredible. Now, I will say that protein was hard to come by in India. Coming from America, where we are used to like protein supplements and high protein diets, India isn't quite like that. You're pretty much surviving on a few spoonfuls of lentils and beans. Like, there's not a lot of protein, but pro tip, if you do go, bring some protein powder or protein snacks with you. That actually really helped me out. Let's talk spicy food. We all know India's got very spicy food, and yeah, it's spicy. For me, it wasn't that spicy. And I will say, I tried. I'm a glutton for punishment, and I really do enjoy lighting myself up from time to time, but that might not be for everybody. Actually, it wasn't for me. I did not always like spicy food. As a matter of fact, I would run away from spicy food. Like, I couldn't bite into a radish without crying. And now, I was literally going up to them and being like, spicy, Indian spicy. Yes? Yes. Spicy. A white man eating spicy food in India? Mwah. Eating spicy food is an acquired taste. I increased the spice levels until I was ready for India. And let me just say, now I love spicy food. I totally get it now. I understand it and I love it. It's so worth it. I like spicy food. Yes, I do. I started off easing into it. Do not go to a place like India and just dive face first into street food. I do not recommend that. Nobody recommends that. And that's a bad idea. There's a lot of temptation, but just don't do it. Start off slow. Start off with cooked vegetables. Start off with only restaurants. Don't eat the street food, especially right off the bat. So yeah, while I did eat the street food, I feel like my biggest stomach issue was that I overate because the food was so good. Don't drink the tap water. Not that you were going to anyway, but just be mindful. Start off slow, ease into it, let your body adjust. So yeah, let's talk about it. I did drink Indian tap water, a whole glass of Indian tap water. It happened, and I survived. I had all the emergency stuff ready to go. I had all the digestive stuff, the Pepto-Bismol, the anti-diarrheal. I even had the probiotics like I told you about, and enzymes. I had activated charcoal, which if you don't know about activated charcoal, I had just found out about it. You essentially take it right after you think you ingested something bad and you're feeling a certain kind of way. You just don't want to overdo it because it will prevent your body from absorbing the nutrients within the food itself. So you can't just be like taking this stuff every willy-nilly every meal. So just be mindful of that. I know that it's just a good thing to have just in case, especially if you accidentally drink tap water. Another hot tip is contact your doctor before going and get some antibiotics ahead of time. They'll write you out a prescription. For me, I got a Z-Pack and it was ready to go in case things went south. I can just start an antibiotic regimen. Now, India actually has really good healthcare. Surprisingly, I didn't realize this, but their healthcare system is legit and their medicine is really good. And they're used to these kinds of issues, so they're ready to go. So in the event that something was to happen to you in India, you'd be good. However, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be out there on the streets looking for antibiotics with a severe case of food poisoning. And it's kind of crazy. Like when I was in India, like I met a girl, like a Western girl who was a traveler who lives in India for about 3 to 6 months out of the year. And she eats fresh fruit and veggies and doesn't even wash them. Or if she does, she'll just wash the fresh fruit and veggies in the tap and eats it. And she's fine. She didn't always used to be fine like that. She said she's gotten food poisoning once, but other than that, she was okay and isn't scared of the food at all. There's probably a little bit of luck involved, and I'm very grateful that I did not get sick in India. And of course, there's the obvious food safety advice. So I'm just going to rapid fire these. Make sure you have hand sanitizer on you before eating and just overall use it. There's actually hand washing stations at like every restaurant in India. It's incredible. They might not have a public bathroom, but they will have a place for you to wash your hands. So I thought that was great. And I know it probably goes without saying, but get your shots. Like, get ready for this trip. Like, if you can prevent it, do prevent it. Make sure you don't get food that has been sitting out. Get fresh food. Make sure it's steaming hot. That's the way. You know, a busy street food restaurant might be a better choice than an empty 5-star air-conditioned restaurant. A lot of the time with street food, you actually get one-time use paper, plates, utensils, whatever it is. So that might be a better way to go too. And of course, eat spicy food. It kills the bacteria and you're going to be better off for it. Sure, it might be a little uncomfortable getting used to that process, but you're going to be really grateful that you did. Now, if you're going to India for like a week, you should be very cautious. Unless you did a ton of preparation for something like that, it might not be worth it to dive this deep. But if you're going for a little bit longer of a time, it is possible to acclimate your body for this. If you take anything from this video, it's that your gut can be improved. Finally, let's talk about eating with your hands. You know what I miss the most about India? Eating with my hands. There's something about it, like it just feels right. Indians eat with their hands. At some points in my trip, I was pretty much expected to eat with my hands. And, you know, I enjoyed it. People always eat with their hands there, but they always wash their hands. And there's a word that gets thrown around at restaurants and any kind of stuff like this. In India, they ask, is it hygienic? That's an interesting word. I don't hear that word a lot in America. Hygienic. How hygienic is the place? And that is something that is definitely interesting and worth noting. In America, we just see a burger and fries, we dig in. A sandwich, we dig in. We don't really think about like washing our hands, but like that in and of itself has so much of an effect on food safety right there. People there just always like waterfall water, you know, like if you're drinking, they don't put their lips on the water bottle, they waterfall it. So it just pours right into their mouths. Indians have it right. They're mindful, they're cautious. They play the field. And that's what I recommend doing if you're going to a place like that. Hey, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in any way, consider tapping that thumbs up and maybe join me as a subscriber and let's explore the world together, whether it's from a backpack or from the inside of this semi-truck. Till next time, be safe, eat spicy food, love you. I like spicy food, yes I do. I like spicy food, how about you? Wow. See you in the next video. Much love.